You know that feeling, right? When your to-do list just seems to be staring back at you, almost mocking you.
Oh, definitely. Like it's sprouted extra arms and legs overnight.
Exactly. And you're already feeling behind, maybe before you've even finished your first coffee.
Yeah.
It's this constant wish for, I don't know, a 30-hour day.
Uh-huh. But maybe the answer isn't more hours. Maybe it's about really getting a handle on the hours we do have.
Yes, that's precisely it. How do we get more effective without just, piling on more stress?
And it's not a new problem, is it? People have wrestled with time forever. Luckily, there's some solid wisdom out there we can tap into.
Which brings us to today's deep dive. We're getting into Patrick Forsyth's 100 Great Time Management Ideas.
Ah, Forsyth. Good stuff there.
Yeah, and this isn't some dry academic text. It's packed with practical bits, real-world insights from successful managers and execs.
Forsyth runs Touchstone Training and Consultancy, writes a lot. He's seen what actually works on the ground.
So think of this as your shortcut. We're pulling out the best bits, the actionable stuff, maybe find a few surprising facts, tailor it for you, the listener.
And what's great about that book is the sheer variety. It's not just one guru system. It's 100 different ideas that have worked for different people, a real toolkit.
Exactly. So our mission today, arm you with time management ideas you can use, like now, to boost your productivity, your effectiveness, without needing a PhD in planning.
Okay, sounds good. So where do we start? What's the first step in getting that grip on our time?
Well, according to Forsyth, the very first thing, and this often catches people out, is figuring out where your time is actually going right now.
Sounds simple, but it's amazing how often our perception is totally off, isn't it?
Totally. You think you spent all morning on that big report, but reality, you were drowning in email. So how do we get that honest picture?
The book offers a couple of practical ways.
Mhm.
First, there's estimation. Quick and dirty, almost. You basically draw a pie chart. Divide it up into your main work chunks like writing, calls, meetings, planning, whatever your big categories are.
Right.
Then you just guess the percentages. How much time feels like it goes into each slice. It gives you a starting point, a rough idea.
A gut check, essentially. But I bet there's a more detailed way.
Oh, yeah. The second method is the time log. This is where the real insights often happen.
Okay, time log. Sounds intense.
It involves noting down everything you do, every task. Forsyth says do it for at least a week, maybe more, to get a proper pattern.
Every single thing.
Pretty much. Even the quick email check, the 5-minute chat, the act of writing it down makes you conscious of it.
I can see that. It's like tracking sped. The numbers don't lie, and they often surprise you.
Exactly. Forsyth says people are almost always surprised. They see way more time spent on, say, interruptions than they thought, or maybe not enough time on the really important strategic stuff. That self-assessment, that objective look, it's gold. It shows you exactly where you might need to make changes.
Okay, step one, track the time. Get real data. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Once we've faced the music, what's next?
Well, once you know where the time is going, the next big pillar is planning where you want it to go.
Planning.
Mhm.
The foundation.
Absolutely. Forsyth argues it's the bedrock of time management discipline. Without a plan, you're just reacting all day, firefighting.
Right, like trying to drive somewhere new without GPS. You might get there eventually.
But probably stressed and late. So we're talking more than just a daily to-do list here.
Yeah, it's layered. You've got your daily plan, sure, what needs doing today, but also a weekly plan, looking ahead a bit.
Okay.
Then factor in your regular stuff, those weekly team meetings, monthly reports, and even a rough monthly plan to keep the bigger goals in sight.
So it connects the day-to-day with the longer term.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
And the plan needs to be clear. It should show different kinds of work, deep work, admin, meetings, and crucially, Forsyth says, link it directly to your diary or calendar.
So it's not just a list, it's scheduled.
Yes, that's how it becomes real. Otherwise, it's just good intentions on paper.
And the big benefit of all this planning effort.
It lets you make conscious choices. What do I need to do? What can I delegate? What can wait? What should I just ignore? It gives you that control back.
Okay, but I hear the groans already. Planning takes time I don't have.
He tackles that head on. Forsyth reckons maintaining a rolling plan might only take, say, 5 minutes a day once you're in the swing of it. Maybe a bit more some days.
5 minutes.
Yeah, his estimate. And he argues that small investment saves you way more time than you'd waste juggling things chaotically without a plan.
A few minutes of calm planning versus hours of frantic reacting. I buy that.
Okay, so we've tracked, we've planned. What's the next critical piece?
Setting really clear objectives. Forsyth is big on this. Vague goals lead to wasted effort.
Right. If you don't know exactly where you're going, any road will get you there, but maybe not where you need it to be.
Precisely. So he champions a specific framework for making objectives work.
Let's hear it. What's the magic formula?
It's the classic SMART approach. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, though he implies. Relevant more than spells it out, and time-bound.
SMART goals. Okay, familiar territory for some, but maybe give us an example from the book.
Sure. He uses a presentation skills course. A vague goal is make better presentations. Pretty useless, right? A SMART goal would be specific, enable participants to make audience-appropriate, impactful presentations. Measurable, judged by results of future presentations or peer trainer feedback in practice sessions. Achievable, given their starting skills and the course duration content. Time-bound would be by the end of the course, or evaluated over the next quarter, perhaps.
Okay, much clearer. You know exactly what success looks like. How does that help with time management day to day?
Because clear objectives give you a rational basis for prioritizing. When you know exactly what you're aiming for, it's much easier to see which tasks directly help you get there and which are less critical, maybe distractions.
Right. Keeps you focused on what actually moves the needle towards that specific goal. Okay, tracking, planning, SMART objectives. Got it. Now, this next one sounds intriguing. Speculate to accumulate. What's that about?
This one's about playing the long game. It means sometimes you need to spend a little time now to save a lot more time later.
Okay, invest time to make time. Give me an example.
All right. So imagine a task someone else could do, but it feels quicker just to do it yourself this time.
Yeah, happens all the time. Training them takes effort.
Exactly. Maybe training them takes 10, 15 minutes. But if that task happens multiple times a week, that 15-minute investment pays off super quickly, then you're saving time week after week.
I see. It's the cumulative saving.
Precisely. And it's not just for small tasks. Spending a day reorganizing a messy filing system or setting up a better process seems like a big chunk of time up front.
But the long-term efficiency gain could be huge.
Exactly. It's about seeing that initial time spent as a strategic investment, not just a cost. Sharpening the saw, you know.
Love that. Okay, being strategic time investors, what's the next principle?
Prioritizing effectively. And here, Forsyth brings in Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule, but it's really about leverage.
The 80-20 rule. Everyone talks about it.
Yeah.
Quick reminder.
Sure. It's the observation that roughly 80% of your results tend to come from only 20% of your efforts or causes.
Like 20% of customers bring in 80% of the revenue.
Or 20% of products generate 80% of profit. It's not exact science, but the principle holds surprisingly often. Finding and focusing on that vital 20%. That's the leverage point. Huge impact for effort.
Okay, makes sense. How do we apply that 80-20 thinking to managing our tasks?
You need to identify your high-impact 20%. Look at your job description. Look at your time log. Where does your time really go? And think critically. Which activities have the biggest effect on your key results?
So it's about consciously separating the vital few from the trivial many.
Exactly. And Forsyth warns that sometimes those key tasks are things you take for granted, or the things you spend most time on aren't the highest impact. Having clear objectives helps you make that 80-20 distinction.
Work smarter, not just harder, on the right things. Okay. Now this feels like a big one. Dealing with the urgent versus important dilemma. That constant pull of the immediate.
Oh yeah, the tyranny of the urgent. It's so easy to spend all day putting out fires, dealing with things, shouting for attention.
Even if they aren't actually moving you towards your main goals.
Right. So the key is distinguishing urgent things from genuinely important things. They're not always the same.
How do we do that effectively? Is there a framework?
Forsyth suggests a simple matrix, essentially. 4 boxes.
Okay.
1, urgent and important. Deal with these now, or delegate if possible. Real crises, critical deadlines.
Got it.
2, important but not urgent. So the strategic stuff, planning, development, relationship building, these need to be scheduled proactively or they get squeezed out.
The ones that often slip.
3, urgent but not important. Lots of interruptions fall here. Emails, requests that feel immediate but don't align with your goals. Delegate, minimize, or push back if you can. 4, neither urgent nor important. Time wasters. Eliminate them. The core idea is think first. Don't just react to whatever feels loudest.
That's a really practical way to filter incoming demands. Pause, assess, then act. Okay, let's switch to communication. Huge time sink if done badly. The book talks about the time-saving power of clear communication.
Absolutely critical. Two main aspects here: clear instructions and brevity.
Okay, clear instructions first. Seems obvious, but
But it often goes wrong, whether it's written instructions for, say, changing printer toner or verbal instructions in a meeting. Ambiguity wastes so much time.
yeah, misunderstandings, mistakes, having to ask clarifying questions, redoing work.
Exactly. So Forsyth stresses, make instructions precise, unambiguous. If you're receiving them, ask questions up front until you are clear. Saves hassle later.
Makes sense. What about the second point being brief?
Brevity saves time for everyone, the sender, the receiver. Especially with email, right?
Definitely prefer short emails.
But here's the caution from Forsyth. Brevity must not sacrifice clarity. A short, confusing message wastes more time than a slightly longer, clear one.
Good point.
So the aim is succinctness, precision, and clarity. Get the message across effectively with no unnecessary fluff, but ensure everything needed is there.
Clear, concise communication. A time multiplier. Okay, moving on to getting help. Leveraging assistants. The book mentions the best assistant.
Yes, Forsyth sees a good assistant or secretary, and he's clear it can be anyone in that role as a massive time management asset, way beyond just admin tasks.
How so?
They can shield you from interruptions, manage your schedule proactively, handle delegated tasks effectively, even help organize you or your whole team.
Sounds amazing. What should you look for when hiring?
Experience is key, managing diaries, appointments, projects, check references thoroughly. But also crucial is finding someone who can adapt to your way of working, learn your priorities, and someone who has enough weight or confidence to act on your behalf, to say no politely but firmly when needed, or make requests that get taken seriously.
So, competence plus adaptability and a certain presence. Once you have someone great, how do you make that partnership work best?
Communication, communication, communication. Forsyth stresses this. Invest time in talking regularly, even if it feels busy.
Like a daily check-in.
Exactly. Many execs do that. Share priorities, review the diary together, explain the why behind tasks, not just the what. That empowers them to take more initiative, anticipate needs, and save you even more time.
It's a real partnership then, not just task allocation. Okay, let's face the beast. Meetings. They can eat up so much time. The book starts with a slightly radical idea. Cancellation is a time saver.
Sounds obvious, but how often does it happen? Meetings stay on the calendar just because they were scheduled, even if the reason they were needed is gone.
Yeah, the regular Tuesday catch-up that nobody really needs this week.
Right. Forsyth says, be brave, cancel it, even last minute. It's better than wasting everyone's collective time. He even suggests maybe scheduling fewer recurring meetings initially, and adding one only if truly needed.
Interesting. Challenge the default. What about making the meetings we do have worthwhile? Avoiding purposeless meetings.
This is fundamental. Every meeting needs a clear purpose, clear objectives, and these need to be shared with everyone before the meeting.
So people know why they're there and can prepare.
Exactly. It focuses the discussion, helps you get results faster, no purpose. Maybe it doesn't need to be a meeting at all.
Good point. The book also mentions avoiding meeting mayhem. Basic organization.
Pretty much. Having that clear purpose and agenda we just talked about, starting on time, ending on time, someone keeping things on track, just the fundamentals of not letting it descend into chaos.
Okay, and what about that classic agenda item, never end with AOB, any other business? Why not?
Forsyth argues AOB often becomes a black hole for random, time-consuming tangents, things people didn't prepare for, minor stuff that derails the end of the meeting.
And I've seen that happen, just drags on. So what's the alternative?
Get important items onto the main agenda beforehand. If something genuinely new and urgent crops up, maybe note it for a separate, focused discussion later, or handle it offline. Don't let AOB become a free-for-all.
Right, protect the meeting's focus and end time. You mentioned the agenda again. A clear agenda, a shorter meeting. How does that work?
A written agenda sent out in advance is like the meeting's roadmap. Everyone knows the topics, the order, maybe even rough timings per item.
Keeps everyone on the same page.
Exactly. People can prepare, the facilitator can keep things moving. It provides structure and reflects the meeting's actual objectives. Much more efficient.
Makes sense. And finally, on meetings. Timing in meetings.
Yeah.
What's key here?
Several things. Clear start and finish times, obviously. Stick to them. Timed agenda items can help too, keeps momentum, but the absolute biggest thing Forsyth emphasizes, start. On. Time.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. He points out how even 5 or 10 minutes of waiting for latecomers multiplied across attendees and meetings over a year adds up to a shocking amount of wasted organizational time. Be ruthless about starting promptly.
Punctuality is a core time management principle.
Oh.
Okay, let's shift to interruptions. Another huge productivity killer, handling telephone interruptions. Any tips?
Be deliberate. Decide if you need to take the call now. If you have an assistant, brief them on who gets through, who gets a callback message, who gets screened out.
And if you answer your own phone?
Remember, they can't see you're busy. Have polite but firm ways to end calls quickly, especially sales calls. A few minutes saved per unwanted call adds up. Be courteous, but protect your focus.
Take control, don't let the phone dictate. What about never compete with interruptions?
This is about multitasking, especially with language. Trying to write an email while talking on the phone, your brain struggles.
Yeah, quality drops for both.
Right. Research shows language processing doesn't parallelize well. You make mistakes, miss things, end up wasting more time fixing errors. Focus on one thing at a time.
Simple but powerful advice. Okay, staying organized. Lots of tips here. First, a document parking system. What's that?
You know that pile of stuff, physical or digital, that needs doing sometime, but not right now? The pending tray?
Oh, yes. The pile of vague guilt.
Exactly. Constantly shuffling it, checking it, wastes time and mental energy. A document parking system is a designated spot out of sight, out of mind for these non-urgent items. Process them batch style later, maybe. Keep your main workspace clear for active tasks, reduces clutter, improves focus, like inbox zero for paper.
I like that. Get it out of your immediate view. What about make use of checklists?
Super simple, super effective. For routine tasks, even ones you know well, a checklist stops those what's next pauses.
And prevents missing steps.
Exactly. Reduces errors, saves rework time. He uses the example of a sales inquiry form. It acts as a checklist, ensuring all key info is captured consistently. Great for tasks done infrequently, too.
Good for consistency. How about staying informed? Use abstracts.
Keeping up with industry news, research, it can be overwhelming. Abstract services summarize articles, papers, books in your field.
So you scan the summaries first.
Right. Quickly see what's truly relevant and worth reading in full. Saves hours of wading through less useful stuff, many available online now.
Efficient filtering. Makes sense. And basic tidiness. Keep papers safe and tidy.
Just fundamental organization. Messy desk, lost papers, wasted time searching, especially when juggling projects. Keep things orderly.
A tidy desk. A tidy mind, maybe. And avoid duplicating information unnecessarily.
Think before hitting reply all or CCing the world. Does everyone really need this? Unnecessary copies clutter inboxes and waste recipients' time. Be selective.
Mindful communication again. Now, the measles test. Well spotted. This sounds fun.
It's a little experiment to see how often you handle the same piece of paper. You put a red dot on incoming documents.
Like measles, okay.
Every time you touch that paper again, shuffle it, check it, move it, you add another dot. It makes the invisible inefficiency of multiple handling visible.
Wow, I bet those papers get quite spotty.
Often, yes. It forces you to see the wasted effort and encourages you to deal with things more decisively first time around, a real eye-opener.
Clever visual trick. Okay, let's talk delegation. Crucial for managers. Delegation as a time saver. The benefits.
Huge. Frees up the manager's time for strategic work, obviously, but also motivates the team, gives them growth opportunities, ownership, and sometimes they find better ways to do the task.
Win-win-win.
Yeah.
But managers sometimes hesitate, right?
Yeah, fear of mistakes, feeling responsible if it goes wrong, thinking it's quicker if I do it myself. But Forsyth says the right approach minimizes risk.
And what's that killer phrase he suggests? The most time-saving one for managers.
When a team member comes with a problem they could probably solve themselves, ask, what do you think you should do?
Putting it back on them.
Exactly. It prompts them to think, come up with solutions, builds their confidence, their problem-solving skills. Takes a minute longer now, but saves countless interruptions later. Empowers them.
Powerful. But you can't just delegate and forget, right? Monitoring.
Crucial, but needs balance. Avoid micromanaging. Agree on check-in points, interim reports up front, give them space, but stay informed. Offer support, not constant oversight.
And feedback afterwards.
Essential. Both praise for success and constructive points for learning helps them improve for next time. Closes the loop.
Okay, makes sense. Let's move to personal effectiveness. Some really interesting ideas here, like the productive breather. Taking breaks helps. Seems counterintuitive.
It really does. Working flat out for hours, your concentration tanks. A short break, stretch, walk, make tea resets your brain.
Clears the fog.
Yeah, you come back refreshed, more focused. Especially good for tricky problems. Stepping away often lets the solution pop up.
I've had that happen. Okay, what about morning, noon, or night? Our body clocks.
Pay attention to your own energy rhythms. Are you sharpest first thing or mid-afternoon? Try to schedule your toughest, most demanding tasks for your peak times.
And easier stuff for the lulls.
Exactly. Work with your biology, not against it. You might not have total control, but aligning where you can makes a difference.
That's smart. And how about staying motivated? Reward yourself.
Link completing time management goals like finishing that report on schedule to a personal reward. Doesn't have to be big, something you value.
Like allowing yourself time for a hobby project.
Yeah, or using travel time for enjoyable reading once the hard prep work is done. Like Forsyth's example. Positive reinforcement makes the good habits stick.
Nice. What about procrastination? Don't put off the things you do not like.
We all do it. Delaying unpleasant tasks wastes time just worrying about them, plus often leads to a last-minute rush and lower quality. Just tackle them, get them done.
Easier said than done sometimes. And those little tasks that pile up, resolve to blitz the bits.
Yeah, the small admin things, emails, expenses, filing, they clog up your mental space. Schedule a specific time block occasionally just to power through them all.
A bit split session?
Exactly. Clear the decks, clear your head, stops them nagging at you.
Good tactic. And soldiering on when you're ill?
Bad idea, usually. Pushing through when sick often means you're less effective, take longer to recover, and might infect others. Taking a day off early can save more time overall.
Health first. Makes sense. For managers again, know when to leave well alone.
This links back to delegation trust. Once you've delegated, give people space. Constant checking is demotivating and slows things down. Agree checks up front, then let them get on with it.
Trust your team, okay?
Yeah.
And the importance of time to think. Seems like doing nothing.
Far from it. Forsyth stresses this is vital. Strategic thinking, creative problem solving. That is work, often the most valuable kind. Protect time for it, even if it looks like you're just staring out the window.
Like that anecdote of the manager who was thinking.
Exactly. It's essential work. Don't let busyness squeeze it out.
And finally, wrapping up personal effectiveness. Focus on what achieves results.
This pulls it all together. Time management isn't about being busy, it's about being effective. Directing your time and energy to the things that actually deliver the outcomes you need. Results, not just activity.
Always keep the goal in sight. Okay, wow, we've covered a ton of ground from Forsyth's 100 ideas. As we wrap up, what are maybe 2 or 3 really punchy takeaways listeners could start with tomorrow?
Okay. Top 3 for immediate impact. First, try tracking your time, honestly, just for a few days. The awareness is powerful.
Okay.
Second, start each day by identifying your top 1-3 priorities. Just clarifying that focus helps immensely.
Simple but effective.
And third, for managers, try that what do you think you should do? Question. See how it shifts the dynamic and builds capability.
Great practical starting points. And as Forsyth implies, it's about finding what works for you, isn't it?
Absolutely. Experiment. Mix and match. See what sticks, what makes a real difference in your world. It's a personal toolkit you build over time.
Well said. And maybe a final thought to leave everyone with, drawing from Sidney J. Harris. Regret for the things you did can be tempered by time. It is regret for the things you did not do that is inconsolable.
Powerful quote.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Are you using your time proactively on what truly matters to avoid that future regret? Food for thought.
Definitely. Use these ideas not just to be busy, but to make space for the things you won't regret not doing.
And hey, we'd love to hear how you get on. Share your own time management wins or challenges. Maybe you'll spark our next deep dive.
Yeah, absolutely. Until then, make the most of your time.